Alright, so I bet you guys haven't seen these bikes before, but when I'm not working on my GSX, I'm actually working on these two, and I'm gonna show you my other project that I have going on right now. So these two are my kids' bikes, but honestly, I ended up being the one using it the most. I've had them for maybe a couple years now, and they are great. Like, they always turn over. I mean, these are the engines that came up with them, so they're not super fast, but I mean, it takes a while, but you continue to build momentum, and they feel like, pretty fast when you're going side by side or whatnot. I made a couple modifications. I did a rod for that one. I just welded the rod to the frame just to adapt some training wheels that I just bought the pieces on Lowe's, and that was fairly cheap. And I did it myself, so that my son can start just getting up to trying to ride it by himself. I think he did it for a couple times, but he got kind of scared because when training wheels are just like wobbling a little bit, they just get scared. So he hasn't been on it for a while. But long story short, I'm working on what to do with them next. So I've been toying with the idea of getting a bigger engine. There's a lot of people just adding or just swapping the engine for the 212 Predator engine from Harbor Freight, which I've seen it many times. It's fun. It looks like it's just a wheelie machine, which I don't mind doing. So maybe I'm thinking at some point I'll do that. But today I'm mainly gonna be working on this one, because if you have one of these, every so often, and in this case it never happened to this one, but it did happen to this one when I bought them. You'll notice that the clutch starts to stick, and what happens is when you get them running, all of a sudden the clutch starts to engage, and if they're sitting, they're just going to be moving, and it just kills the engine. So I'll be disassembling it for a second, just adding a little bit of like water, less grease, and that should fix the issue, because it did it for this one, and this one is running super nice. So I'm just going to try to see if I can get it started, to see if I can replicate the issue, so you which have never seen it, maybe you can see it for the first time. Secondly, you can also, if you are going through something like this, now you know how to fix it. So if you like this content, just let me know, and maybe we can do some things in the future with them. I'm planning on maybe just getting rid of one of them because my kids are not using them anymore. But maybe I'll just keep one so I can continue doing more modifications, or maybe just like more different new projects with them. Cool. All right, and now sorry for the mess, but this is the other bike that I was talking about. I have this GSX-S1000 that I took apart to rebuild and paint the frame. So I just took it apart. I'm actually putting it back together. I am in the process of maybe selling it as it is so I can fund some other projects, but this is what I have going on, and I love this thing. If you see me in the past, you know that potentially, what the heck are you doing with a GSX? I'm sorry, not with the GSX, but with an XR. When you are 5'6", and that bike is a massive bike. So I mean, the seat height of this bike, it's about, I want to say a 30, maybe a 31, maybe a 32. I think 32 is too tall. Well, the way is lower right now. It's actually even lower than what it is standard. But the XR is actually a massive, like 37, 38 inches. So like it's way too tall for me. But hey, I managed to get on it and just like slam on it. It's a super nice bike. But yeah, I might be funding some of the projects by selling the bike. So always looking forward to the next thing. Alright, so most of the work that you're going to do is going to be on the left side of your bike, so you'll have to remove these plastic covers if you still have them. So this is a Phillips, and then you also have this other Phillips bolt in here. Actually, I'm going to break it into two parts, because you can take it as a single unit. It's been a while since I removed the other one. Do this for now, just like it. Take it back, and I'm just gonna remove this nut right here so I can remove this portion. Let's remove this one right here. So there's another nut just like this one underneath. So I'm just gonna undo this one too. And there's another one right here. Okay, so it's a 10. Here we go. So in case you missed it, one was here, and the other one was like right here. So 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 screws or bolts that they have a nut set and they just go inside of the other one. Cool. So now we have the sprocket, a little like kind of sprocket. This is the clutch, and so this is the area we want to get to. So what I have to do now is just to loosen the pressure on the chain, just so I can get a little bit of a slack on the chain, so I can undo the chain and then just work on the clutch without having the pressure off this. I'm now going to the back, undoing this one right here, just so that I can remove the tensioner of the chain and get the slack that I was talking about. Let's see if I can get this out. Yeah, perfect. Now you can see here at the bottom, there's a tensioner right here. So as soon as I get that tensioner out of the way, or at least the chain over the tensioner, I can get slack again and then remove, and I can remove it from the sprocket. I think it's a 10 to, no, oh yeah. Let me just undo this one. In case you notice, I'm sweating a lot. It's because in Arizona, it's 111 today. And for those of you who are probably watching this from Europe or any international locations, that it's Fahrenheit for you. So yes, it is hot today in July. So I have a washer in here, the nut from the back, and okay, let me get the tensioner out. Okay, so the tensioner is out, so I'm just pulling it out of the way so I can get the slack that I need. Okay, bolts out. Now you have a spacer and the tensioner. Okay, so now I have slack now, so I can theoretically I might remove the chain from the rear sprocket, and now I can get access to clutch. Perfect. So I removed the chain from the sprocket, and now I was able to get the leverage that I needed. Chain was coming through here, it was like this. I removed it from the outside, so now it's out. This is a number 10. So what you want to do now, without damaging the centrifugal clutch, is to insert something just so you can create enough force so you can keep them from moving together, so you can remove this. Okay, so far what I did, I looked for a place where I was rotating the outer and then just trying to get my picker tool just to get stuck between the two, and it got to a place where when I was rotating, it got stuck without making any damage. So I'm just gonna give it a try and see if I can get the nut out. Okay. Okay, it worked. Okay, so it's coming out. Okay. Now let's just make sure that we keep them all in order. Okay. Okay. So it just now came back together. So just so you see, I inserted the pick tool in here, and I started rotating, and it got caught in here, and that's how I managed to make sure that both of them were staying together in order to get that number 10 out. Okay, so I have my tool in here where you can grab the link from the description of this video. So when I do this, they just open up. So I'm just gonna show it in camera. So I'm just gonna grab these two. Okay. Oops. Okay, snap ring out. Now remember how it is. And now we can disassemble these two together. So just this is the area you see. There's no like grooves or anything, but this is the area where you want to apply a little bit of grease. Not, oops, I have a washer that just came out flying. So you don't want to grease in this area. You don't want to grease in this area because this is where what expands and then just make contacts in here. You don't want grease in this area. We just want all of this clean, and which I'm just gonna do. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a cleanup with part brake cleaner, and then but you do want grease in here because this is just gonna be allowing these to like freely move. In my case, it's just catching. It's just catching in here in the middle, and then what that does is just like activates the clutch, and then the bike just kill itself. I mean, this is not a piece that you have outside of every day, so I'm just gonna make sure that it's clean. Just tiny bit, making sure that there's nothing in here. Give it a good clean, and just gonna clean the shaft as well. Just gonna backside of this so I can clean it. Pretty decent, so pretty good shape. Just gonna take that out. Okay, now here I'm gonna do the same. Maybe I'll pay a little bit of attention to the inside as well as on the inside of here, and then on the inside where the shaft goes through. Maybe you can see there's a little bit of a grease inside, but there's not a whole lot, and so that's why that's happening. So I'm just gonna do the same. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe it, clean it. This is good. There's always going to be a little bit of a debris or whatnot inside, so that's fine. And then this is for the most part pretty clean, so no stress with this. Perfect. I'll take this. It's not gonna be a whole lot, but I just want to clean the area and make sure there's nothing in there. Alright, so my phone overheated and I think it didn't record this. So basically, after I put a little bit of waterless grease inside of the shaft, I put this piece inside of the hub, and then I put the snap ring, and there's also inside a washer that goes in between the actual clutch and the shaft and this piece. So I'm just gonna put it back together. Very important, there's a piece in here that's there's a gap, or there's a gap. So now that portion is gonna go, not a gap, I'm sorry, the gap is in here, and here I have a key. So I'm just gonna have to align it. Perfect. So now it's in, and now it's a matter of just putting the same bolt again back. I'm gonna get to the point where we're gonna need to stop the clutch from moving. So once we get to that point, we'll have to do the same magic we did before by torque. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Just gonna rotate this until I find a gap and I get them both to get stuck. I just did that. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is get the chain in here again. So now we got the chain. I'm gonna remove the nut. And what I'm going to do is just let it go down the tensioner to get more. To have my better opportunity for me to put this in here. That's the rest. Okay, so I put the tensioner underneath the chain, but not on the bolt. And now I'm just gonna put the spacer. See if this way is better, I think. Okay. Yep. This way it's better. So do it like this better. So now everything is set. I just need to put the washer and the nut by hand first. I think that's as much as I can get it. On the other side. Too tight. So now we're also learning how to adjust it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a play. Tense. So now they're running free. Perfect. One bolt in here to this side. And we put these two together in here. Okay, bolt in here. I'm not gonna put it all the way, just so I can adjust it. These ones are installed. This is when I'm gonna go ahead and this is what I'm going to go ahead and adjust the other ones finally. Okay, so last bolt. Now I'm just gonna come back and now these move so they have a little bit of a play so you can adjust them and put them in the right place. Okay. This thing is okay, perfect. All right, so that wasn't that bad, right? So now I just realized that I didn't turn the bike on before I did it to show you how the bike was stalling every time I will turn it over. But let me see if I can just turn it over, and if the bike stays, you know, running and it doesn't make a sound, like a screeching sound, like something's grabbing, like, and bringing the engine or the motor to halt, like just to stop, then we're done. Running on gas and start. Let's do this. I think we have a winner. It worked. So now she was on choke, so I might need to let it run a little bit more just to get up to temp. But normally it should not die when I put it on run, so I might need to make an adjustment. Last time when I rode this bike last year, I think it was still pretty cold. I think it was still December, so I'm guessing I might need to make a little bit of adjustment on the carburetor. Just to give it a little bit of a gas or something, just so I can keep it running. So I hope this was, you know, a good experience for some of you if you have these type of bikes. Now you know what to do with the clutch when that happens, when you get that screeching noise and all of a sudden the bike just stalls. So it was, you know, fairly easy. Just you need the waterless grease, and number 10 just so you can get the 3 bolts, a screwdriver, and then a number 10 so you can get the adjuster, and finally and I had also an open wrench just so you can get the nut in the back so you can get the chain out and get the clutch or the centrifugal clutch out. So, you know, these bikes are a lot, you know, easy to work with. Like I was saying before, if you are not super knowledgeable, but you want to get your hands dirty on something, maybe do a project and do something with your kids, or maybe by yourself, or just like enjoy it. Maybe you can go from like making this engine faster, which a lot of people will tell you that's not a good idea, or maybe just do a 212 Predator engine from Harbor Freight, which will require to potentially either modify the motor plate, or maybe just to get one that you can buy, which will bolt on the engine. You have to weld it and whatnot. So yeah, let me know if you would like to see stuff like this in the future, so I can keep it up with, you know, these small projects, and yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about the bike or anything else, just let me know. Hit me up.